I got married when I was 17 years old. That's usually where people stop listening and start making assumptions. They assume I was in love. They assume my parents pushed me into it. They assume there must have been something obviously wrong with him. None of those things are true. In fact, I said no more than once. That's the part I've spent years trying to explain. Because when people hear manipulative, they picture someone yelling, threatening, or acting cruel. That wasn't my experience. He was attentive, he was persistent, he drove across the states to see me, he talked about a future together long before I was thinking about one. And everyone around me could see how much he cared. The problem was that nobody could see what it felt like to be on the receiving end of it. Every time I pulled back, there was a reason I shouldn't. Every time I hesitated, there was a reason I was wrong. Every time I said no, it somehow became a conversation about him. His feelings, his future, his heartbreak. I remember feeling responsible for all of it. I remember feeling guilty for not feeling what I was supposed to feel. And I remember getting to a point where I spent more time trying not to hurt him than I spent listening to myself. People ask me now, why didn't you just leave? The truth is, by the time you're asking that question, you're already assuming you still trust yourself. I didn't. Not completely. I trusted his certainty more than my hesitation. I trusted his confidence more than my discomfort. And that's a dangerous trait. The morning of my wedding, I felt sick. I was throwing up. Not because I had cold feet, because deep down, I knew something wasn't right. But I had gotten so used to talking myself out of my own instincts that I couldn't tell the difference anymore. Looking back, there was one question I never asked. Why did I have to defend no so many times? Because healthy people can be disappointed by your answer and still respect it. They don't need to argue with it. They don't need to wear it down. They don't need to convince you that your feelings are wrong. If I could sit down with that 17-year-old girl today, I wouldn't tell her to be tougher. I wouldn't tell her to be smarter. I'd tell her to pay attention to that feeling that kept showing up every time she said no. The feeling that something wasn't right. Because sometimes the most important voice in the room is the one you're trying the hardest to talk yourself out of listening to.